totally awesome. Hey guys, this is GG Your Face, and I'll be talking about a game between MaDFroG and Fuzer. MaDFroG is playing as the red Zerg player at the lower left hand corner, and Fuzer is playing as the blue Terran at the upper right hand corner. The map is Delta Quadrant. There's lots of expansions on this map, and Fuzer is going to be building a supply depot inside his base, choosing not to wall off this choke. I think this is a normal choke. I don't think it's bigger than usual. In that event, both players are scouting in the wrong direction. One's going for the lower right, one's going for the upper left. In that event, there is an expansion directly inside the base, blocked by destructible debris. There is a natural expansion directly outside next to the ramp, and there's also another high yield expansion for each of the players. There's actually 4 high yield expansions on this map, which is an incredible amount of high yields. The barracks going down for Fuzer at the moment, and MaDFroG is going to be putting down the 15 pool and not grabbing the gas yet. A lot of Zerg players do like to grab the extractor before the spawning pool, because the extractor will help you get the metabolic boost that you need for the Zerglings, and the Zerglings are a pretty good way to deal with the Reapers, especially if they have the metabolic boost and if they're on creep. And MaDFroG will scout Fuzer, and I think MaDFroG wants to see what kind of unit Fuzer is going to be building. MaDFroG is chasing Fuzer outside of the base, and MaDFroG is maybe thinking about grabbing that extractor, maybe not. The orbital command is just beginning for Fuzer at the moment, as the spawning pool is about to be complete for MaDFroG. MaDFrog's still inside the base with that drone, and he just recently put down a hatchery at 16. And we see MaDFroG will be running for his life away from this one marine. Additional marine currently being produced by Fuzer, and the expansion has gone up. There's still no extractor yet. It looks like MaDFroG is not at all concerned about the Reaper, or at least it seems like that's the case. No additional buildings going up for the Terran player at the moment. There's one overlord position over here, right at the edge of space. Another one position over here, right at the edge of space as well. Very, very good overlord positioning. And right now we see the factory currently being produced, and MaDFroG has recently started the extractor as well as a roach warren, a rather late extractor. His Zerglings won't have speed for quite some time, and we do see barracks, bunker, and a factory. I guess he is gonna wall off. Maybe Fuzer wanted MaDFroG to see that he wasn't walling off, so that his Zerglings would run over and be surprised with the walling off that is taking place. The Marines are working on the side rocks, but they are forced to come back as these Zerglings are trying to harass on the buildings over here. Ooh, almost taking down that one SCV. The SCV was able to get out with only 10 HP alive, and these Marines are trying to take down this. There's some intense micro on those Marines on the set of destructible rocks on the side. 2 queens being produced simultaneously, and there's already 2 queens out. One last queen is coming. MaDFroG does like to use multiple hatcheries for one base and multiple queens for one base as well. If you haven't seen some of the previous games, he has a very, very nice couple of plays with dual hatchery bases. I highly suggest you watch them. I do have them uploaded, and if you just take a look on the right side tab, you should be able to find it. And this one Hellion from Fuzer will be met with some resistance from one Zergling, and if you notice, the Zerglings for MaDFroG is spread out very, very evenly. He puts one over here, one by the Zeldang Watchtower, very, very good placement, and the command center is about to be complete at the moment. Second refinery going up, and there's some Hellion harass for the Zerglings, and those Zerglings will be fry extra crisp at the middle. And these Hellions will be coming across, but that has given MaDFroG enough notice. He does have the 2 queens in position. He doesn't want to get off the creep. He wants to stay on the creep, and we do see the second extractor has just gone up very, very recently. A couple of Hellions moving around the middle of the map, and their Cyrox still being worked on by those Marines. Marines and Hellions are really not the best units to work on the Cyrox, but I guess the build he's going for is a little bit different. We do see another command center going down. Am I seeing double? There is a double command center. Interesting choice there by Fuzer, and Fuzer will be able to try to micro this one couple of Hellions away from this one roach. Currently there is 2 factories, second factory going up, 1 barracks, and 3 command centers in one base. And there's Hellions running around the map checking for the expansions of MaDFroG. We see Glearwood Constitution has just been started by MaDFroG for the Roaches. It will be able to upgrade their speed a little bit. And this one Roach does catch a glimpse of those Hellions, and the 3 Queens do come over in time to deny the Hellions from further harassment. We see that tank as well as the siege tech is being researched by Fuzer. A lot of Roaches are going to be coming on the field very, very soon. I don't think MaDFroG expects this. MaDFroG has not at all scouted Fuzer's base, so right now I don't really think that he thinks Fuzer has 3 command centers. That is highly unusual at this stage of the game. 2 refineries going up right now for Fuzer. If we take a look at the income tab, I would bet that they're similar. As soon as Fuzer gets this base up and running, they should be really, really close. The gas is actually almost identical, as both players are grabbing the 3rd and 4th extractor and refineries, and Fuzer coming in to the side, and his siege tech is about to finish, and he's also putting up an armory inside his base, and these Hellions are coming inside, and they will, they got a couple of kills over there. The Roaches are working on the Cyrox over there, and he got about, I think, 4 or 5 kills. And this one command center not really lifting to go anywhere. Double army going up in the back. And we see in engineering bay one tank. And this Hellion is gonna run back, and he only has 2 HP. Very, very good move. And the Roach is not gonna give chase. If we take a look at the unit composition for both players, only Roaches for MaDFroG at the moment. Absolutely no anti-air, except if you count a couple of Queens. But then it's like he knows without scouting that Fuzer is not going to go for air at all. A couple of Roaches outside the base. And we see a nice lead for MaDFroG in terms of the army count. But Fuzer is supply block, and so is MaDFroG actually. MaDFroG is grabbing his 3rd base, his 2nd expansion. In the natural expansion that was blocked off by the destructible rocks, this command center has been built, but he has not lifted it. And he's using it to build SCVs, I suppose. And at the moment, it's not doing anything. Weapons 1, plating 1 upgrade currently being researched by Fuzer, and he will be expanding and grabbing his 3rd pretty much at the same time as the hatchery is going up. Actually, he's going to be able to finish a little bit quicker, as that command center has been complete. A couple of Marines in the back, very, very good positioning for these Marines. We see barracks, bunker. This is very, very good wall off against a lot of the Zerg attacks. A tank on the high ground, a bunker above as well. A couple of Hellions coming out in the middle, and we see a lot of creep tumors that were replaced by 1 Queen. And that will give vision of these Hellions, and MaDFroG does take it out no problem. We take a look at the army count, 100 to 84. And we see that Fuzer has gone full macro mode, and he's catching up quite a bit. He does have 3 factories, and there's dual armories in the back, and I think there's just 1 barracks over here just blocking it off, not using it too much. Dual missile turrets on the side, 2 missile turrets in the main base as well. And we see a couple of infestors coming out for MaDFroG, as both these players are nearing that stage of the game, which is the mid stage, and I think we're gonna see some meaningful and frightful battles. Wow, that is a lot of creep tumors everywhere. And this Queen is dropping a lot of creep tumors at the same location as well. And we see some additional upgrades being done for the Roaches as well as Burrow. Very, very good upgrades that will allow them to move very, very quick underneath the ground. And as long as the Terran player does not have a Raven, it will be extremely difficult for Fuzer to keep up with the movement of the Roaches unless they pop up in front of your face. And we see the 2nd weapon as well as plating upgrade is going to go up, and these Marines are trying to kill off this one overseer, and the Changeling does make it inside the base of Fuzer, and I think it's going to be killed off very, very soon. And the Roaches are going to come to try to kill off these Marines, but I don't think they can make it all the way, and they actually get about 4 Marines, and the last one does survive. If we take a look at the unit counting station, there are 2 Thors, 5 tanks, 5 Marines. About the same number. He's actually coming in here, but he's not undetected. And he's gonna lose a lot of those Roaches. Oh, that is painful to watch. I think he lost about 60-70% of his Roaches from just tank fire. He did take down that 1 tank, but there's a lot of tanks on the high ground. A couple of Thors should be able to clean up these Roaches, and he only takes down the refinery there. That is a little bit worrisome. If we take a look at the army count right now, for the first time, Fuzer is really close to the army count of MaDFroG. MaDFroG on 3 base, Fuzer on 3 base, and MaDFroG has just started his 4th base, and he's grabbing a lot more roaches. That was a very risky endeavor because these tanks were in great position, taking out a lot of those roaches, all decimated that entire army of roaches. The roaches only managed to pick off, I think, 1 tank on the low ground, a refinery, and maybe a couple of SCVs. That was definitely not a good trade. If we take a look at the units lost, ooh, that is a pretty bad result for that, I think. Ugh. Couple of infestors coming out in the middle. Infestors do have the fungal growth as well as infested Terran. He should really get the neuroparasite. Neuroparasite is on the way, and he's also getting metabolic boost for his Zerglings. A couple of Hellions as well as doors and tanks moving out to the middle map. Fungal growth goes on the Hellions, and maybe he's gonna grab. Ooh, the neuroparasite is not done. I think the infestors wanted to use neuroparasite. They got really close, but they couldn't use it because he's still gotta wait about. Ooh, that's gotta be the longest 35 seconds of his life. Ooh, these infestors, they really want to use their new ability that has not yet been researched. If we take a look at the army count right now, Terran for the first time ahead, 151 to 141 of MaDFroG. Fuzer is taking firm control of the middle, and he's deciding to grab another base relatively soon. Terran is only on 3 bases at the moment. The Zerg player has expanded here and here as well, but he has not have any units on those positions, and a scan goes off, and these stores are destroying a lot of the creep tumors. The stores are already at 2-2 upgrades, whereas I think, oh, the Zerg player MaDFroG doesn't have any upgrades for his units. 2-1 upgrades for the tanks, and he's going to try to get in here and take a couple of free shots, but he won't be able to find any of them. A lot of drones currently being produced by MaDFroG to try to saturate those bases that he has. Take a look at the unit count. There's 84 SCVs versus 60. It was 60 something. A whole bunch of drones just spawned. If we take a look at the income tab, I think, wow, the Terran is really ahead with those mules as well as the SCV advantage. And we see a huge battle going off here. A lot of the neuroparasites were used on the Thors, and a couple of roaches are going inside, but I think their army is hurting pretty bad because I think he got off those neuroparasites a little bit late. But I think he might be able to change the battle here, but another Thor is coming in, and a lot of those roaches did fall. I think all of the infestors fell because they were focus fire, especially after they grabbed control of those Thors, and only 2 roaches make it out of that battle. If we take a look at the army count once again, Terran is slightly pulling ahead. Fuzer is pulling ahead about 30 ahead, 167 to about 136. And I think the difference of this game has been the upgrades. MaDFroG hasn't really been upgrading his units. He's been trying to get a lot of them and very quickly, and he's done that very well, keeping up to par with the Terran player. But the Terran player has a lot of upgrades, and that is helping him tremendously. He already has 2-2 upgrades, and I think he's going to be working on his 3-3 relatively soon. A couple of Hellions running across the map to the middle, trying to take down some of these creep tumors, and army count 139 to 190. Wow. The Terran player is already at 190, almost full capacity, and he's going to lose a couple of Hellions over here. If we take a look at inside the base, there is, wow, that is a lot of factories. I've never seen so many factories. 7 factories inside the base. Additional command center going up, and even though the Zerg player MaDFroG has a lot of bases, he does not have a lot of income, because if we take a look at the unit counter station, he does actually have fewer drones than the Terran player has SCVs, which is a little bit surprising, especially for the Zerg. He does have a lot of eggs all over the map, but it's just that he's been constantly losing his roaches. He lost the initial roach to a lot of tank fire. He lost that engagement there because the neuroparasite wasn't in great placement, I think. And here you're gonna see a couple of the creep tumors going down, and he's gonna try to go and get a surround with these Zerglings. He's gonna run the Zergling, maybe try to do some damage on ACVs. He can't really decide what he wants to do. The Terran player is falling back, and he's actually just attacking the bunkers. I think he's just on A attack. He could have gotten some of those SCVs if he just moved them in, but I think his mind was on something else. I think he's trying to re-macro up because I think he knows he's behind, so he just sent those Zerglings in as a distraction. If we see the army count 166 to 200, the Terran player is already working on 3-3, 2-2 upgrades, whereas the Roaches is still 1-1 at the moment. And some more upgrades are being produced. We do see a couple of Ultralists, looks like, that are going to be coming